Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hello baby. Today we are going to be doing a super exciting video that has nothing to do with books but has to do with one of my other absolute loves and passions in my life, and it is related to music. You saw the title. Today we are going to be going over my record collection. Oh my god, I forgot some. I just got some records today. So we are going to go over my record collection today. So I have been personally collecting records since I was about 15, 16 years old. I'm right now 22, gonna be 23 this year, which is terrifying. We don't need to talk about that. I definitely have not gotten these overnight. I don't think my collection is that big, but it's definitely bigger than a person who has like a casual collection of records. Before we get into like my collection or anything like that, if you're curious of what my record player is, my setup, anything like that, you can see it right behind me. I play my records on an Audio-Technica, the AT-LP60, and then I have just these random speakers that I bought at Barnes & Noble when I bought my record player. These are the Alesis M1 Active 320 USB speakers. I don't really know anything about them. I don't know if I would recommend the speakers. I still really like my record player, and I've had this record player since I think I was 17. I have replaced like the needle on it, which is such an easy like repair to make, and it still sounds absolutely beautiful. Audio-Technicas I really love as a turntable if you're more on a budget, and I know their newer models have Bluetooth. I know there's a whole thing about like if you're listening to record players, you shouldn't use Bluetooth because it gets rid of like some of the point of it. Whatever, I don't really care. It's not that deep. Also, before we start into this video, if you are a record snob and you're gonna leave any mean comments, this is not a safe space for you. Get the fuck off my channel. Just need to say that because making videos about records is kind of scary because people are really weird. And then two more record care things before we get into the actual records. I use these Hudson Hi-Fi, the inner sleeves. They're just like anti-static, better sleeves to put your records in. Records are really expensive, like no doubt about that. So take care of your records. My actual like disc records, I put them in an outer sleeve, which I use the bound or unbound. I'll put them on the screen. I use those, and then I use these to put the discs in, and that's how I store them, so they are safe and protected. I just recently started doing that. For a couple years I actually didn't have my record collection where I was living. If anyone's gonna leave a comment about how the sun is gonna damage them, I don't care. I just moved the angle slightly down so I could sit a little bit more comfortable. But the last care item that I do have is I have the bound or boundless, I can't remember the brand name. It is in a black box, and it's basically like a spray, like a dust cleaner for your discs. I would really recommend that as well. I just do not know where it is. I'm so sorry if I've been just staring at myself that whole time. I'm trying to make sure that the lighting isn't awful. We're gonna start with two records that I just bought today. I just spent way too much money on these, but it was worth it because I need them. So the first one is so iconic. I got One Direction, Take Me Home. We'll put this over here so you can actually see it. I have not seen this record in person like ever. I've never seen it. I saw it online, but yeah, I'm super excited about that one. I also got Muna's new album. If you do not know Muna or listen to them, you should. I actually have on the wall of my bedroom, I have I don't know, it's not signed. It's just their set list from when they opened up for Casey Musgraves on her last tour. I have this. I'm super excited about this one. And this one is on a translucent orange vinyl, and the One Direction one is on a translucent vinyl with white stripes, I believe. Okay, so we are gonna start with this top section. I'm so sorry it's so bright if you can't really see it. These are going to be my most played records and just some of my favorite artists. I will say I do have duplicate of records. I just have like different pressings, but my record collection, I really only buy albums that I like front to back. I do not buy albums that I only like a song or two like I used to. They're just so expensive, and there's no point of owning that and having it take up space, in my opinion. So the first record that I have that you kind of already saw, besides the ones that I just hauled, Stella Wants to Play Fetch. I just got home, so she really wants my attention right now, but I'm trying to film because I have family coming to visit me. So the first album that I have is Sam Fender's 17 Going Under. This is his newest release, and I absolutely adore Sam Fender. I've seen him twice live now, both times at Lollapalooza. Both times he was kind of done dirty with his sound, so he is just such a talented artist, and he's been getting a lot of recognition lately because of his like single with Noah Kahan. He's just super talented. So this one I believe is just a standard black pressing, and I have it in the original little sleeve it comes in because the sleeve has like an anti-static lining on the inside, but it just is a standard black pressing. I don't know why I can't speak today. I hope you guys are ready for this video to actually be so long. If I had to choose a favorite off of this album, it would probably be Getting Started or Long Way Off. Those are some of my favorite songs. The next album that I have is MGMT. I don't actually know what the name of this album is, but this is the one that has Kids. Yeah, it's the one with Electric Feel and Kids. Is just a standard black pressing. Those are my favorite ones off that album. Then I have every indie alternative person's favorite band, the 1975. I've had this since I was really young. I think I got this in middle school when this album came out. This is I Like It When You Sleep, For You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It, which is actually the most pretentiously long title, but it fits so well. This is like my favorite 1975 album, and it is a translucent little disc. My favorite songs are probably I Like It For You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It, because I absolutely love that song. What's the one where it's If I Believe You? If I Believe You. I absolutely love that one. Also, when they were touring this album, If I Believe You live was like actually life-changing. Next, I have Hozier's Unreal Unearthed. This is his latest album, and this album is actually Unreal on vinyl. It is just a standard black pressing. I absolutely love Abstract or Psychopomp. I can't listen to that song because lyrically, like, once you know what the song is about, it's actually the most devastatingly beautiful song. I cry every time I listen to it. So I'd probably say Unknown is my favorite song on this album. This is just front to back such a beautiful album. I absolutely love it. Next, I have Harry Styles' Fine Line. I believe I only have one copy of this album, and it is the clear with the random black and white speckles. Fine Line is such an important album to me. Fine Line, the song, is also such an important song to me. I have a Harry Styles tattoo. I've loved him for longer than I can remember. So yeah, I love this album. Love him. I have Boy Genius, which this is the one I have most recently played. I believe this is a black disc, and my favorite song off of this is Souvenir. I've seen Julian Baker live. I've not seen Boy Genius live. I was supposed to see Phoebe Bridgers live at Hinterland, not last year, but the year before. But there was this like crazy storm that happened, so I didn't get to see them live. Next, I have my absolute favorite band. I've literally traveled across the country to see them live, and it is Inhaler. This is their debut album. It Won't Always Be Like This. I got this because it's actually, they have a signed poster on the inside of it. My favorite off of this album is So Hard. I have so many memories. When It Breaks, Totally, and probably Cheer Up Baby are my favorite. This is like a special edition of this album. And then I also have their second album, which is Cuts and Bruises, and this one is on a red disc like that. Dublin and Ecstasy is very easily my favorite off of this album. Then I also have Hozier's self-titled album, and this one is also a black disc. Favorite off of this would be Sedated and To Be Alone, probably. Next, I have two copies of the same album, and there's a reason why. So this is Folklore by Taylor Swift. I have two copies of this because for the longest time in my apartment I was living in, I did not have my records with me. My mom had them, and she had called me while she was at Target one day and was like, hey, I really want to buy this album. Do you know if you have this in your collection? And for some reason, I thought I had Evermore, but I have Folklore and I do not own Evermore. It is the red pressing. I believe this is the Target edition. My Tears Ricochet or This Is Me Trying. If that doesn't tell you a lot about me, I don't know what does. Then I also have one of my favorite Taylor Swift albums, and this is Speak Now, Stolen Version. This is actually exciting because if I ever want to listen to the OG album, I can, because none of the proceeds are going to him if I listen to it on this. Just a standard black vinyl. It's actually really cute because it has like the little thing from the CD. The Story of Us and Dear John are my favorites. Next, I have Taylor Swift's Midnights. I have the like emerald green pressing, and maroon is my favorite off of this album. Another album that I have 2 copies of, I have 2 copies of Harry's House, but they are different. This is the Target edition because when this album came out, I was obsessed with this edition. This is just yellow. I absolutely love it. And then I also bought, I believe it's technically called the Pepsi Blue, or maybe it's the Coke Blue. I don't remember which it's technically called, but it's this colorway. I bought it like a year later. I love them both. Favorites off of this album, I feel like it's kind of basic to say Daylight, but I really like Daylight. And then another Harry Styles album, I just have the self-titled album and Sweet Creature, and then Ever Since New York are probably my favorites. This is just another black disc. Then I have Mac Miller's Good AM. I absolutely love this album. My favorite is going to be Weekend because it has Miguel. I feel like I just said his name really weird. This is a black disc album. I really need to put my record collection in Notion. A, because I rent, and if this place ever burns down, so I could track what I have. But B, because sometimes I'll be out record shopping and I see an album and I'm like, oh, I don't need to buy it because I already own it. And I don't. Example, I own 2 of the same version of Folklore. Next is a Stevie Nicks album. This is from when my mom would basically use my record player. This is black discs, I believe. Edge of 17 is iconic. Trying to rush through this because I feel like I've already been filming for so long and I'm like nowhere near done. This is the Casey Musgraves Christmas Show. Obviously it's a Christmas album. Ooh. I forgot that this was white. I actually really love Present with a Bow with Leon Bridges. This is such a random album, but I own the music from WandaVision. So if I show you, it's a picture disc, which is really cool. And this side looks like that. You can't really see it. It's so cool. WandaVision is my favorite Marvel TV show that's ever come out. I have such beautiful memories from when I watched that when it was being released. Next, I have Maroon 5 Hands All Over. I know it's embarrassing to like Maroon 5, but this is a good album and I will not take the criticism. I don't care. It's good. This is a black disc as well. Never Gonna Leave This Bed or Moves Like Jagger is just iconic from my childhood. The next album that I have is Halsey's Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. I loved Halsey when I was younger, and so I have this. It's absolutely a stunning disc. This is, I believe, a Romeo and Juliet inspired album, if I'm remembering correctly. And if I were to choose, I would probably say Strangers. Next, I have another album that is an absolute favorite, and it is Greta Van Fleet at Gardensgate, I believe it's called. I have the one with green discs. Yeah, you can see right there. I love this album so much. I love Greta Van Fleet. I would probably say Stardust Chords is my favorite off of this album, or Light My Love. Just absolute beautiful song. Next, I have Badlands by Halsey. Again, like I said, I absolutely loved this album when I was younger. It is a pale pink version. And I would probably say New Americana or Hold Me Down were my favorites off of this one. Some of these albums, because I had gotten them when I was younger, I don't listen to. Example, this next one. I have Panic at the Disco's Death of a Bachelor. I think this one is just a black one, but you know what, it was good when I listened to it. Next, I have Calvin Harris's Funk Waves Volume 1. This is also just black discs. Slide, Heat Stroke, and Fakin' It. Oh my god, I need to listen to this album. I have the Beatles Abbey Road album. My mom got this one. I don't necessarily have a favorite. I don't think I've ever actually played this album, but got that. I have Sam Smith, The Lonely Hour. I played this so much when I was heartbroken in 17 that my mom literally does not like Sam Smith. I've Told You Now, Latch, Nirvana. I was obsessed with that song. This next album is for all my 5 Sauce girlies. I bought the Ghostbusters soundtrack because 5 Sauce has their song on it. It's a red disc. I also have Sounds Good, Feels Good. I went to Sounds Live, Feels Live when I was younger. A little piece of Chelsea lore. I actually used to run a One Direction X 5 Sauce fan account on Instagram. Is that embarrassing to admit to? Yes. Do I care? No. This was on a pale pink disc, Catch Fire. By far my favorite song off of this album. Now we're kind of getting into the albums that I bought when I was in middle school. This is Marina and the Diamonds. Oh, this was the album of my middle school years. It is a hot electric pink. I'd say Sex Yeah and How to Be a Heartbreaker. And then I also have Shawn Mendes, Illuminate, which is a black disc as well. Shawn Mendes was actually my first concert I ever went to, so I love this. No Promises and Bad Reputation are my favorites. I have Hers album. This is her self-titled album. Off of this album, I would say Lights On. I believe this is just black discs. Then I have Cage the Elephant. I would say Come a Little Closer is just like iconic off of this, and Cigarette Daydreams. Absolutely love this album, and also I love the artwork of this album. I have another little picture disc album, and this is the Peanuts Christmas album. I've never actually played this. This was my sister's. She bought it, and she does not have a record player, so she just gave it to me so that I could keep it. The other side is them all on a Christmas tree. Next, I have Billie Eilish's Don't Smile at Me EP. I would say My Boy and I Don't Want to Be You Anymore are my favorites, and this is a red disc. It is a split yellow and red. And then I have Miley Cyrus's Plastic Hearts. I would say my favorites off this are Prisoner, and then it also has the Edge of Midnight remix with Stevie Nicks. Next, I have Bruno Mars 24 Karat Magic. Went through a phase where I loved Bruno Mars when I was in high school. Anyways, it's a black disc, and I would say my favorites off of this one are Chunky and Straight Up and Down. Okay, and then I have Fleetwood Mac Rumors. This is like a very OG version of this. I think we got this at a thrift store. Love Fleetwood Mac. And then I also have a version of The Doors that we also found at the thrift store. We're getting close to the end of this first stack. I have a Ed Sheeran album. I believe these discs are black as well. And my favorite off of this would be Nina Tenerife Sea. I feel like in this video you can really tell my music taste. So I go to Electric Fetus, which is like a very iconic record store. It's in Minnesota. Prince used to go there and get a lot of his records there. I actually got this album. This is Michaela Davis Delivery. It was on clearance at Electric Fetus. I have never played this. And the last album, thank God, is Casey Musgrave's Starcross. This one's actually really cool because it opens from the middle and then you just see her crying, and she's absolutely beautiful. I actually really liked this release because when you bought these albums, you did not know what color you were going to get, and I actually ended up getting the color that I wanted, which was this like electric yellow. Favorite off of this album is Justified. This album came out when I needed it. We went to this tour and we were literally like one row away from Barricade. We were the second row, general admission, and it was the like best concert. It's where I got that Muna thing that's on my wall. Okay, and on to the bottom part of my record thing. So this is very random. My grandma gave me some records when she heard years ago that I was into collecting records. I have a random orchestra one that I'm not going to show you, and then I have Creedence Clearwater Revival and Creedence Gold. Don't know, never played these, but I just have them. I have Mac Miller Circles. It's a clear disc, and my favorite would be That's On Me probably, and Blue World. My next album is, for the longest time, this was my favorite record in my collection, and this is Zella Day's Kicker. This is a black album. Jameson, The Outlaw, Josie Wales, East of Eden, Hypnotic. Honestly, this whole album, like, it was a favorite for a reason. It is such a good album. My camera battery is dying, so we need to speed this up. Then I have the Lumineers. Off of this, I would probably say Ophelia, and it is also a black disc. Then I have Sam Fender's Hypersonic Missiles. This is the album that got me to be absolutely in love with him. It is a clear disc. I would say Will We Talk, Call Me Lover, Two People, Dead Boys, You're Not the Only One, Play God. Honestly, this whole album is perfect. If you have not listened to Sam Fender, please please listen to him. Then I also have Lennon Stella's 321. This tattoo is actually dedicated to her. It is the title of her first EP, and my favorite off of this would be Weakness or Huey Lewis, and Save Us and Good Night. Lennon Stella is definitely one of like the most influential artists to me. She's kind of up there with Harry Styles. I actually posted a reaction video, which is on my channel right now. Like years ago, she actually posted it on her Instagram, and she followed me because I reached out to her and I was like, hey, you're never gonna see this, but that was my video and I love you. Like, your music has changed my life. So yeah, I will always love Lennon Stella. I have a signed like little CD packet thing from this album. I want her to release more music, but yeah, love her. The next album that I have is a super indie band that I don't think any of you have heard of, Tame Impala, Currents. I actually never play this record because A, it was so expensive, and when they made this, they made the center circle too small for me to put it on and off my record player without having to actually bend the record to try and tug it off of the little center part. So I never actually play this record. But yeah, I love Tame Impala. That was a joke. Don't take that serious. Next, I have another One Direction album, and this is 4. Also a black disc. I would say Where Do Broken Hearts Go, Stockholm Syndrome. Also this whole album. Guys, I have a very specific vivid memory of me on a family vacation crying in a hotel room because I knew I would never meet One Direction, listening to Spaces. I don't know why I just told you that. Oh, another artist that if you love Hozier, you should listen to him if you've not. This is James Bay, Chaos and the Calm. You probably know him from Hold Back the River was the album that, or the song that like went viral. I really love If You Ever Want to Be in Love, Move Together, Scars, Get Out While You Can. This is just another one of my favorite albums. What I love about collecting records is I see these records and it takes me back to a specific part of my life where I remember listening to that album so much. It's so beautiful. Music is so beautiful. I have also another one of my favorite artists when I was younger, and due to their actions lately, I have not listened to their music since, but this is Ariana Grande's Dangerous Woman. I was the biggest Arianator fan. It's a black disc. Just to everything that happened. I also was cheated on, and I know that it's one of the worst things to happen when you're in a relationship, so it is what it is. Just so that I can also talk about them while we're already talking about them. I also do own Sweetener and Thank You Next. We're gonna move on. Next, I have Arctic Monkeys AM. This is a black disc. I would say Arabella, Snap Out of It, and Wanna Be Yours, or I Wanna Be Yours are my favorites. Oh, I also have Ariana Grande's My Everything album. That was the album that made me a Arianator back in the day. I have good memories with those albums, and I'm happy at least that I can play them on record if I do want to listen to the music. Next, I have Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. This is another album. I deal with depression. If you didn't know that already, now you do. It's pretty obvious. I used to play this record and I would bake when I'd be really sad. This album means a lot to me. I would say Butterflies, Golden Hour, Love Is a Wild Thing. I love Casey Musgraves. Oh, I also have Positions. It was hidden back there. Don't know. This is Catfish and the Bottlemen, The Ride. With everything in me, I love Catfish and the Bottlemen to this day. I almost bought a ticket to Reading or Leeds, which is a festival in the UK, because Catfish and the Bottlemen got back together and they're literally headlining that festival. Do not even get me started. It's just a black disc. This is my favorite album by them. I would say 7. Anything, Red, Postpone, Soundcheck. Oh, I love this album. Another Bruno Mars album. This is Doo-Wops and Hooligans. It's a black disc. This is Just the Way You Are, Grenade, Marry You, Talking to the Moon. So good. Then for Christmas, I actually got these 2 albums. I got 1989 Taylor's Version, which if you saw the TikTok, this is the color the disc is actually supposed to be. So he did not break the Taylor Swift album. And then I also got Boy Genius, the record. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't listened to this album a lot. I've listened to Me and My Dog is the EP album, their first one. And the last record that I have, which is probably my most iconic record that I own, is Now That's What I Call Music's 2000s hip hop. It is 2 discs and they are silver and they are gold. This is the gold one. I was literally raised on Now That's What I Call Music CD. CDs. So when I saw this, I'm literally showing you nothing. When I saw this at Target, I knew that I needed to get it. This has such iconic songs on it. I'm just gonna like talk about all of the songs on this because this is such an iconic record. It has Hot in Here, Party Up, Lean Back, Shake Your Ass, Miss Jackson, Crank That Soldier Boy, Day and Night, Drop It Like It's Hot, Ride In, Lollipop, This Is Why I'm Hot, Because I Got High, Roll Out, Stay Fly, Get Low, Let Me Blow Your Mind, Always on Time, and The Light. Iconic. If you're a 2000s baby and you also were born on and raised on, now that's what I call music CDs, you need to get this. Those are all of my records. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll probably do another one of these videos maybe in a year to see how my record collection has grown. Yeah, that was it for this video. Thank you for watching.